Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. Today, I'm feeling very islandy. I feel like I need a pina colada or a blue Hawaiian or something like that and a day off, but I took a day off yesterday. So today I got to get back to work. We are going to be talking about April 4th, 1958. What happened on the night Johnny Stompanato was stabbed to death at Lana Turner's house in her bedroom. We'll be right back. Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. In this video, we are going back in time with one of our favorite divas, Lana Turner. So on April 4th, 1958, Lana Turner was previously dating a mob-connected Johnny Stompanato. Stompanato is best known for his exit off the planet. So he was stabbed to death in her Beverly Hills home and in her bedroom. And Cheryl Crane, Lana's 14-year-old daughter, confessed to the stabbing, saying she was defending her mother during a violent argument. So wild stuff here, guys. The case was ruled as a justifiable homicide, but rumors of cover-ups and conflicting accounts still continue to this day. Interestingly enough, I did discover that Cheryl Crane is still alive. I didn't think she was still alive. So the alleged, the confrontation, the actual confrontation, followed an alleged heightened argument between Lana and Stompanato in her bedroom. The daughter ran in and took care of business. So we are going to ask some questions about that. I'm going to let you guys know that StreamYard apparently is having some issues with the sliding of the images. You saw my video yesterday. I was having some trouble doing that. So what I'm going to do is really do some finagling here. So just bear with me while we make that happen. And we are back, and hopefully this is going to work. And it did. All right, guys, we are almost back in business. You can still see me, but that's okay. The cards aren't that big, but I'm going to be using the Pulp Tarot, so you should be able to make out the imagery pretty well here. So was Lana Turner's version of the events leading up to the murder, was that a true story? What she told the police about the events leading up to the murder. Seven of Pentacles. Now that is curious because Seven of Pentacles, when it's in reverse, we are looking at things differently than they actually occurred. We're reviewing our actions. So if this is in the upright, I always tell people in the Rider Waite, the standard Rider Waite, this is a farmer looking back to see how his crops handled, how his behavior with those crops yielded better fruit, and we're considering what we can do better. This Seven of Pentacles says that there was some fudging of the information. The Nine of Wands, Ten of Cups, Two of Pentacles, and Ace of Pentacles. So I do suspect that the illusion, and remember, Lana Turner's an actress, the illusion of saying, hey, I really am giving you all of the information because I want to be as forthright as possible. Really, my main goal was to have a happy life. We were going in different directions anyway, and he didn't like that I was setting off on my own. Top note here, Five of Wands and the King of Pentacles. He brought nothing to the table but arguments and discord. I wanted to step away from the discord. That was her version of the events. Damsel in distress here. What was emotionally motivating her statement? Was it fear, self-preservation, guilt, or truth? Let's look at all four. We're going to do a reveal here. Fear, self-preservation, guilt, or the truth? What was motivating her? Fear. Eight of Swords, releasing herself from a bad situation. So I think the relationship was not going in a great way. So I do think breakup. This is a breakup card, Eight of Swords. You know, it's a situation. The young lady that is in the Eight of Swords card can walk out of that situation at any time. She just has to take the blindfold off and walk forward. The binds are very loose. Was it self-preservation? Seven of Cups in reverse. I think she didn't see herself able to advance with him. You know, back in the day, there was a certain glamour that was assigned to hanging out with mobsters. Certain doors were open, certain things could be done for you, and you didn't have a whole lot to fear because they were controlling all of the criminal aspects in your particular area. So makes a lot of sense. And we have some connections with this, with the Diddy trial that's going on right now, which, by the way, I owe you guys some videos on that. I'm going to crank some out today. Today is a production day for me. It is Thursday. It is afternoon already because I had some allergies. Greg had some allergies. We took our time getting up. Guilt. Was guilt motivating her? King of Wands, not at all. This is not a care in the world. Focused on her own things, not focused on the guilt at all. Did not care. So if we see that there was some connection with her, I think this is a no remorse card for me. What do you guys think? I know a lot of readers follow me, a lot of novice readers. My students are in here. What do you guys think? Is this a guilt-free, lack of conscience, Hansel on this one? So the truth was the truth emotionally motivating her? The world. She was ending that relationship. She was moving on to another phase in her life. So I don't know. I think the relationship was bad. I think, you know, there are subtleties in all situations like this, especially with a murder, because sometimes this was certainly a crime of passion, and the choice of weapon was a weapon of convenience as well. I believe it was some manner of kitchen knife. So, was she telling everything she knew, or was something being protected? The Tower in reverse. The Magician in reverse. Seven of Swords. Where are my readers at? What do you guys think? Oh, the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups in reverse and the Six of Pentacles. Guys, you know, I do think that she was concealing some information. Perhaps her exclamations during the situation, during the initial argument, I do think that her behavior influenced this Page of Cups. This is definitely Cheryl here, guys. I think the things maybe she had said to her daughter, maybe had said in confidence, and perhaps had said in the confrontation just prior to the murder, I think may have influenced her child to make this ultimate action. Very interesting that we have the Seven of Swords under here. I do get kind of a cat and mouse kind of situation. Lana Turner, very beautiful, successful in her own right. I am not necessarily seeing that Lana is entirely responsible for this. Um, we're gonna get to who was the participants in this. Wow, that was a wild spread right there. So let's pivot to Cheryl. And we're going to go with Cheryl's emotional state the night of the murder. Phew! Excuse me. That was a sneeze. Guys can all say bless you in the comments. What was Cheryl's emotional state the night of the murder? Curious here. 10 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles in reverse, Magician in reverse, 10 of Wands in reverse, Devil up top. You know, there is, and I am doing a little bit of a jump in. There is this kind of, I'm minding my own business in my room. I'm just minding my own business. I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not bothered. And there's almost this, she's used to hearing raised voices, drama coming from adult quarters. Let's put it that way. She's kind of used to hearing that. It doesn't really bother her very much, but there's this higher pitched yelping that I think instinctively made her perk up. So I go from a teenager kind of in their own room, kind of doing their own thing, to someone who now hears this heightened kind of excitement coming from her mother's room and kind of races there. Does she go with a weapon in her hand? That I can't quite figure out. I can't quite figure out when that gets into her hand. And I think when she walks into the room, he has his hands on her mother's throat, and that looked very serious to her. It looked very serious. Had to get in there. And I don't even know, I don't know if she testified to that, or I didn't look over any of the court records or anything. I wanted this to be pretty clean. But it's almost like he is Stompanato is seemingly trying to take Lana off the earth plane. And I do think that one hand goes free and he kind of hits her a couple of times. And then it's almost like she runs in and she's right there face first into him. I don't think there was more than one. I don't think there was more than one, but there's that hesitation at the door just for 1 second. And it's not so much I'm going in a different direction with my life, but I'm thwarting the timeline that I'm seeing in front of me unfold. A terrible moment for a 14-year-old. Really, really, I'm not trying to make light of this. And again, I did discover that Cheryl is still alive, which I shouldn't be surprised. Like, she's 14 in the 50s. Like, come on. In the aftermath, so I do think that she felt compelled after that moment of stopping in the doorway and seeing what was going on. I think the devil is this compulsion to go forward and take care of it. And it's in that moment that she really decides enough is enough, and that we are not going to do this any longer. Really a very intense energy. Oh, that cup of coffee is cold and bitter. And under here, powerless. Curious that we get the magician in reverse on the bottom and the devil up top. The devil is a super, super intense power, whereas this magician in reverse is completely powerless, unable to really change the moment. It is this moment that Cheryl becomes an adult. It is this moment where she abandons her childhood. There is a great deal of shock, obviously a great deal of shock, and like a collision of emotions after it that I get. Those of you that are psychics, like, tell me what you get when you look at this card, because it's a collision of emotions. It's excitement about what the future holds, in a peaceable environment, but it's also terror, like, what did I do? What happens now? But there's this excitement about this peaceable moment that'll happen after. It's like very, very curious energy. So my next question here was she acting spontaneously? I think the spontaneity of the situation, psychically speaking, is the spontaneity is that there was that yelping noise. There was this yelping noise that she heard from her mother that was unfamiliar. So I think that was the spontaneity. But was there a pattern of Stompanato not being kind to her mother? Was there a pattern of that? Yes, yes. And so very typical, not great relationship. We want it to be better. We expect it to be better. We don't learn from the situations that we were in. And then this temperance card is where it balances out. So this is like gaslighting, and then the love bombing, gaslighting, love bombing. So we do have that kind of a situation going on, which doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me at all. I'm just thinking I should have used the Housewives Tarot for this to lighten it up a little, but we're not doing that. So tis what it is. I will bust that out for the remainder of our week. Speaking of the remainder of our week, make sure that you go over to my community page and vote in on the poll for tomorrow, because we're going to do one diva tomorrow. And it is going to be a diva of your choice. And then Saturday, we're going to do a mixed bag of the rest of those and some other divas too. So if you want to put recommendations in the chat on that poll, that would be great too. Would love that. Love it. So, all right. Did she fully understand? Well, actually, I want to ask this. What was Cheryl's opinion of Stompanato? How did she feel about Stompanato? Because a lot of people say that she had some feelings because there was some funny stuff going on with him. Stompanato, 3 of Swords. Why? Why are we brokenhearted? King of Swords. Oh my. So I do think that there was some expectation of more of a family here. Did she want him to be her daddy or her daddy? This is daddy and daddy. Oh. It's a little electrified in this moment. Electrified. You guys know what I mean. Go back to your literature classes. What was Stompanato's attitude towards Cheryl? What was Stompanato's attitude toward Cheryl? Magician, Judgment, King of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Three of Cups, Ace of Swords. So Magician is someone who can poof, give us whatever we want. But I teach my students that it's a very Gomez Adams kind of energy there. Why is it Gomez Adams? Like Gomez Adams was a big flirt. You know, he would make anybody, and you know, John Aston, chef's kiss, love him. So Gomez Adams he was a schmoozy kind of guy. He was really great. Fun to be around, would tell you you smelled good, you looked good, would dance you off your feet, and then you go back to that Morticia, that gorgeous woman. Carolyn Jones, so gorgeous. So I do think that there was a bit of that. Now, Three of Cups in reverse. I don't think that Stompanato was very into having a family, so to speak. I think he was very into having Lana Turner, but maybe not having so much of a family. You know, and I'm not saying that Cheryl was interested in having a relationship with him. I just want to make that clear back there. I do think that there is, you know, a period where young girls do idolize some older men in their lives. Not in a creepy Lolita kind of way, but there's an idolization, an idealization of the men and the protectors in their lives. And so I think that perhaps that is the relationship that we were seeing in that last spread, and that there was a failure to live up to the image. So the King of Pentacles there, I don't think that he really wanted to engage in that capacity. I don't think he really wanted to be Daddy-o, you know. I think he was happy to be to remain as her mother's boyfriend, even if he married Lana Turner, even if they had gotten married and like established a life together. I think he was always going to be mommy's boyfriend. He was never going to be stepfather. And I just don't think that he was interested in that. And I think if there was longevity to this relationship, if he didn't meet his demise on the carpet on Lana Turner's floor, I think that he would have been hustling her out of the house, Cheryl out of the house, like so they could have their own existence. It feels very much like the kind of dad that would pay for an apartment so that he could have the house to himself, and the kids wouldn't have keys to the house, that kind of thing. I think it would be very much like that. This is my house. You don't live here anymore. Like very much like that. So let's talk about the energy of the murder scene. We're going to do a little remote view. We're going to use some cards here. So I am going to go into Lana's bedroom that night. And I do feel there's a process of getting ready. It was either getting ready to go out or getting ready to go to bed or something like that. And I don't know if Lana Turner is wearing a dressing gown. I'll look it up in the facts later. But she is either taking off or putting on makeup. There's like kind of a building up or settling down kind of energy here. And breezing about the room. She's breezing about the room. Like I could see like that dressing gown is kind of like breezing about behind her. And he is more brooding about something, and he wants to do something, and she has taken the upper hand and said, no, not interested, not doing that. He is brooding about that. That is the argument. So it's, you know, like a push and pull. Like every argument is a push and pull. Duh, you don't have to be psychic to know that. Judgment. Lana did not judge the amount of gas in that relation, in that moment. She did not judge the amount of gas in that moment. So, oh, look at that 10 of swords in reverse. Wow. Do we see the Three of Cups and the Empress card here? Remember, Three of Cups for me. Thank you to Melissa Sinova, who wrote Kitchen Table Tarot. Great book on tarot if you want to learn how to understand the cards a lot better. It's very similar to the way I teach tarot. I like storytelling, and she does a lot of storytelling in her book. Again, Melissa Sinova, Kitchen Table Tarot. The focus was more on Lana's world. Lana was more focused on her world than their world. She wanted to be the queen bee and develop her vision of the world. Judgment in reverse with somebody like Johnny Stompanato, you know, and there's that Jersey accent, Johnny Stompanato. We all love that. It rolls right out of your mouth. So, I do think that she was saying, hey, these are my ideas about what my world looks like. And if you don't want to do that, then you can bugger off. You don't have to be part of it. And I think he felt that there was some manipulation of him in that process. And the fight escalates from there. This Three of Cups, we do possibly have some substances that are involved, some drinking, that kind of thing. He was poised for a fight. Absolutely poised for a fight. This was something that was building up in him, that was ready to kind of burst forth. You don't tell someone who is involved in criminal endeavors and is used to having their way, used to getting in the back door of restaurants and being treated like a king. You don't tell them that you can't do it, even if you are a Hollywood starlet. You don't do it, right, Greg? Greg. He said a little squeaky. Yes, dear. Use that voice. What's that? Please don't use that voice. What voice? The voice. The Stompanato voice? Please. I'm sorry. All right, I'll go do dishes. Huh? I'll go do the dishes. You're goddamn right you'll do the dishes. So, please don't hurt me. Don't say that. God, we'll start more rumors about me online. Sheesh. So I do think that what's that? Press is press. Press is press. That's right. I do think that he was kind of gearing up for this, and it was something that was building in the relationship all along. So was it a difference of opinion about where the world was going? Yeah, I think so. Did Johnny ever expect anything to happen that night? Did he expect anything to happen that night? Johnny and was playing Savoy, Vermont tonight. We got 5 of Wands and 5 of Swords in reverse. So yeah, he was expecting some craziness that night. Unfortunately, he was geared up for it. He was ready to go. So, kids, this video is a lot longer than I expected. So you know what we're gonna do? We're going to do a part 2. I'm going to have to do a part 2. I don't want you to have to sit here. So consider this part 1. Part 2, we're going to talk a little bit more about the verdict versus the truth. So stick around for the next one. We'll be right back in a little while. I'll load these up like back to back. Okay. Thanks, kids.